Anyone happy they're here tonight? I first want to give honor to God. We give honor to our illustrious presiding bishop, Bishop Blake, the members of the general board, and the leadership of this great Church of God in Christ. I love saying that word, Church of God in Christ. On this event, when we are here to celebrate the legacy of our founder and to discuss the significance that his ministry has meant from a historical, political, and theological perspective, and also concentrate and ruminate on what it means today and for the future, you absolutely do not need me to give you that information. Please keep in mind, bear with me tonight, remember that despite my name, I am not one of the preaching Pattersons. When I was in medical school, one of my professors, who was an eminent neurobiologist, in trying to explain to us about the human mind, the part of the human brain that controls memory, he said that despite its complexity, basically it's nothing but a large filing cabinet. A filing cabinet in which every memory is contained. Everything you experience, everything you see, you read, you taste, you hear, every memory is in that filing cabinet. If you can imagine, over decades, that filing cabinet gets pretty stuffed, pretty disorganized. So it becomes difficult trying to get a memory out of that filing cabinet. So those who have superior memories, people who can remember dates and places and facts and figures, it's not that they have a super brain, a stronger brain. They just have a bit better filing system. So, Bishop Wells, when you forget something important, it's not gone. You just can't pull it out of the filing system. Now, over the years, I have tried very hard to reach into the filing system, my filing cabinet of my brain, to pull out a first-hand memory, first-hand remembrance of Bishop C.H. Mason. And I can't do it. I have failed remarkably. It irritates me. It frustrates me because I was there. I remember the day of his funeral. I remember being spanked because I was running through the house making too much noise. But try as I might, I can't pull a first-hand remembrance of Bishop Mason. And I wish I could. So the image that I have of him, as most people nowadays who don't have a first-hand memory of the founder, it's based on things you read, things you hear. And for someone like Bishop Mason, someone with that legacy, that aura, a lot of what you hear is legend, myth almost. So when I was told that I would give some comments tonight, I reached one more time into that filing cabinet, that messy, overflowing filing cabinet that is my brain, to try to pull out a memory. And I failed again. But what I did find, Bishop, was some secondhand remembrances based on people that knew him better than anyone else, his children. I got to tell you in advance that some of what I found does not necessarily fit with the image that we have or that I've developed of Bishop Mason. One remembrance was a conversation I had with his daughter, Deborah, my grandmother. She was picking her oldest grandson up from school after he had been cut from the 7th grade basketball team. And she was consoling him. She said, "Jimmy, don't worry. You just need to practice some more. You'll make the team next year. Get your big daddy to put up a basketball goal in the driveway so you can practice. Papa put a goal up at our house." I went, whoa, wait a minute. There was a basketball goal at the Mason household? And she calmly explained, "Oh, yes. Tiny and Alice and I were the forwards. Ruth and Julia were the guards. Bishop Mason's daughters played basketball?" I couldn't believe that. I tried to wrap my mind around this. Did he go to the games? Was Bishop Mason in the stands cheering? Was he yelling at the referees? Mr. Referee, didn't you see that she hit my daughter on the hand there? I'm going to pray that God gives you better eyesight so you won't miss the call next time. Was that our founder? Did he actually do that? One of his other daughters told me about an incident, a summer vacation at the beach. And again, I'm thinking, the founder went to the beach? Bishop Mason was chilling at the beach? She said, oh yeah, he would go out and swim for exercise, and he'd come back and sit on the beach, and he'd read and pray, and we would bury him in the sand. And I went, my God, you took the founder of our church and you poured wet sand on him? I'm still having a hard time fitting that picture with the image that I have of Bishop Mason. I guess you think Bishop Mason, his kids should be spending all day, every day learning Bible verses. I'm sure there was some of that too, but Bishop Mason allowed his kids to be kids. Bishop Mason was what we would call today a very hands-on father, even to the point of hand-picking the colleges his girls would go to. His youngest daughter, Ruth, some of you may know, could be kind of headstrong, I understand. She had her mind set on going to Howard University in Washington, D.C. Well, the summer before she enrolled, there was a scandal. One of the Howard co-eds became pregnant and had an abortion. Well, obviously, Bishop Mason's daughters did not go to that school. No, he found a small college in West Virginia, a small town where they would be safe. And to further prove the point of how involved he was and how concerned he was about his kids' welfare, 3 months later, he showed up on campus unannounced. His kids looked up, and there's their father walking across the courtyard with the dean, carrying a suitcase. He checked into the boys' dormitory. Somehow he happened to arrange to conduct a revival at a nearby town. Instead of staying in a hotel, he stayed in the boys' dormitory, checking up on his kids. I heard that story. Bishop Blake and I immediately got in my car and drove down to New Orleans and showed up unexpectedly at my son's campus. If it's good enough for Bishop Mason, it's good enough for me. Later, he, in a conversation with another daughter who was about to graduate from college, he asked her what her plans were, and she said, well, I'm going to get a job. He said, well, I think you should stay in school, keep studying, go on and get your master's. If you leave school now, you probably won't go back. Now, I thought that showed concern, but think about the time. We're talking about 1930s in America. This was a time when women, and particularly women of color, were not exactly encouraged to pursue higher education. And here the founder of our church was not only encouraging his kids to go to college, but telling her to go ahead and get her master's now. So Bishop Mason, visionary, progressive, you might call him. I don't want to use the term feminist, but it was pretty unknown at that time to encourage women to go forth and pursue higher education like he did. So while this doesn't necessarily fit with the image that I had initially of Bishop Mason, what it does do is it shows Bishop Mason, and I want, if I could leave anything tonight, is that Bishop Mason, yes, he was our church's founder. Yes, he was an anointed man of God. Yes, he started a denomination that became the largest Pentecostal denomination in the world. Yes, he established churches in 50 states, numerous countries. But he was also, at the end of the day, a man who loved and was loved by his adoring family. A family that did have to sacrifice quite a bit for this church. They had to suffer as their father was gone for extended periods of time. The money was taken and put back into his ministry. They didn't live high on the hog, as we might say. But because of that sacrifice, we're here today at the Church of God in Christ. And although I am, as I said, personally disappointed that I don't have that firsthand memory of my great-grandfather, don't worry about me. Because I realize that the important and significant interaction I'm going to have with my great-grandfather is not in my past. Folks, it's in my future. Because I will see him one day. Now, I don't know if Bishop Mason is going to personally give me the orientation tour to heaven. I assume there's going to be one. I know it's going to be him. It may be my father, Bishop J.O. Patterson Jr. It might be Sister Maddie Moss Clark saying, Jimmy, did you bring your bass guitar? We got one for you. Got a place right up here for you, right next to the choir. So, saints, no, we're not here to preach. But I just wanted to think that on today we should think about not just Bishop Mason, the founder of our church, the anointed leader, but also Bishop Mason, the man, the father, the husband, the grandfather, the great-grandfather. Thank you.